Okay, everybody, I am going to attempt to do a voiceover today. I am not feeling well. I apologize for all the sniffles, but sniffling will happen, and I apologize for that. But I wanted to talk about this book um, called Trust Me, You Could Draw, and it is a really cute little book. She goes into not detail. These are just very generalized for anybody who just wants to learn how to draw. And she's got animals and food and lettering and with little fillers and anything that you can use to go into it. And she explains here that not everything is going to look exactly like she does it, and that's okay. And I like that she says that because not everybody draws the same. Um, she goes into some basics or drawing basics, and so these are the general shapes that she uses in her drawing, and so they're easily practiced. And then on the other side, we have our basic supplies, which is just a pencil, some markers, some colored pencils or some colored markers if you decide you want to color it in, which I did just because I think it's nice. And so the first couple of pages are um, just coloring, just something you can color with. But then she goes into the draw, and she says the easiest way to learn to draw is to break the subject down into simple lines and shapes. You will see that I use the same lines and shapes over and over. I recommend that you start drawing by sketching lightly with a pencil. When you're happy with your sketch, go over it with a marker. Use a medium tip for outlining and a fine tip for filling in small details. When you are finished, go back and erase any pencil lines that are showing. Happy drawing. So we're going to draw 5 different things, and I will have sped this up to 3 times the normal, how I was normally doing it. And so it's definitely going to look like I'm speeding through this, but I'm not. I've just sped up the timing of it so that it doesn't last for 45 minutes. So first thing I did was make a mistake, and then my pencil eraser was really bad, so I got out my other eraser. I just started too high, and then I ended up making this so big I couldn't fit another animal on there. But you know what? We're just learning here. And so you draw the ears, you draw this little curly Q for the leg, and another little half circle, I guess, half oval. And then I've kind of fought with the legs for a little bit. I'm still not happy with the legs, but it is what it is. And she does very simple faces. This is something that I would like to practice and kind of get better at, is doing faces. I love watching, who are the ones that I love to watch? Well, Mariah Elizabeth, obviously. Chloe Rose, Vera Byler, and Creative Paula, they all make the cutest little things and the cutest little animals, and it looks so simple as they do it, and yet my confidence in my drawing is such that I don't even dare to try. So that's why I was like, here's a book that's going to show me exactly how to do every single little bit. My book kept trying to close on me. So it turns out I didn't have any pink color pencils in this set, so I end up using well, at first I tried using red thinking it would lighten up, but it didn't look good. So I switch over to a peachy apricot color for the inside of the ears. So you color in the inside of the ears, the inside of the nose, and then I added some little blushy cheeks. So there's animal number 1 done. And then you, like she says, you go back over and erase the pencil marks. And let's look for another animal to do. I'm definitely not going to do the chameleon. The chameleon seems a little hard. But a cat, I can handle doing a cat. See, cat, C-A-T. So first thing you do is make a rounded square. And then you put little ears on the top. And then erase the lines. And then you're going to make the lines that go for the colored part of the cat. And then you make a tail. and a little nose, and then you just finish it out. You make little paws. Now I made my paws a little more curvy than she made hers, because I just liked that look better. Just little sleepy eyes and little triangles in the ears for color, and now we're going to outline it. Now my animals definitely don't look as polished as hers do, so that kind of makes me sad. But again, I am just a beginner, and so this is something that I need to practice at if I want to get better at it. Cute little kitty. Erase my marks. And then we're going to go in with a brown pencil and fill in around the eyes and in the ears. And then I put a little bit on the tail because I thought we needed a little bit more color, so I outlined that as well. And then a little apricot in the ears and the nose, and little kitty is done. It's kind of cute. It doesn't look as much like a cat as her actual cat does. Look, we can make a chicken, but I decided I wanted to make a dog, because if you have a cat, you've got to have a dog to go with it. Now the dog was a little bit more intricate. Not intricate, that's the wrong word. The shapes were a little more unusual, I guess. So like half an oval, and I felt like I made the body a little bit too big, or too wide, I guess, because it makes the legs look like they stick out really funny. Those back legs right there, they just look like they stick out, and I fiddle with that a little bit. Forgive me, I just sniffled. I sure hope this is just a minor cold and it goes away quickly. We have the worst air in all of the United States here in the Salt Lake Valley in Utah. And so, look at us go. We're trying to be the best at being the worst. But there is so much. At first I thought all of this in my head and in my lymph nodes, I thought it was all from the air, but then I started a slight fever last night, so definitely more than just the air. We're going to give him a little kerchief, and now we're going to ink it in so that you can really see what it is we've done here. Now the ears are lopsided. I totally own that, but it's kind of cute that way. You don't necessarily have to have them exactly the same. Oh, here's the point where my computer starts to warm up and sound like it's about to take off somewhere. So we put this little kerchief on him and put a little hatch design on, and then we're going to get out our colored pencils and color him in. Now in this book, she's got, like I said, she's got animals, she's got flowers, she even has a gnome, she has a birdhouse. What else does she have? A leaf, a mushroom, pumpkin and seedlings, snowflakes, a snowman, different kind of leaf stems that you can do. Different type of succulents, some different types of trees, some different ways of doing sunshine, and then she goes into food. She even has food like an avocado, bubble tea, cake, coffee, cookies, croissant, cupcake, different types of fruits, a hamburger, a hot dog. Now I'm getting hungry. Haven't had my breakfast yet. A popsicle, taco, and jalapenos. So, different ones there. And then she does different things like banners, a camper, clouds. You can draw a crayon. That's ironic. An envelope with a letter in it. Different types of frames, different types of feathers. A gemstone, a house. Oh, we've moved on to the fox. So I hope that you're just enjoying the fox. I really did like the fox. I made him a red fox. Hers was more brown, but I liked the red better. Especially since I had used brown on the previous couple ones. Let's see, what else does she have? And then she has different types of lettering that you can do. And she goes in like bubble lettering. What else does she have? Serif letters. Whoops. And then she has practice pages. And then the very last one is putting them all together. So you can use your lettering with some pencils and say looking sharp. You can draw a watermelon and say one in a melon. Gnome sweet gnome. Hoot hoot with an owl. So lots and lots of ideas that she has in here. And they're just easy peasy little ways of drawing using the most simplest shapes. And so highly recommend it. It is by let's see, Jessie Arnold. Jessie is Jessie. Jessie Arnold. And yeah, it's just a fun little book. Now you'll notice that I made little hash marks all over. That is to help with the idea of fur. I don't know why they did it on there and not on any of the other animals, but you know, it's just, it fits the fox, that's for sure. Although this fox looks a little mischievous. I can't quite figure out why, but he definitely looks mischievous. Alright, one more animal, and the moment I saw this owl, I thought, I have got to draw this. Not that my circles are any good, but see, I already had to erase that one. Kind of round it out a little bit more. And then we draw an inner line, and I end up changing the pupils on the owl so that it doesn't look cross-eyed. Instead it looks like it's looking to the side. And then I made this part way too long, and I didn't fix it until close to the end, and then I put the arms down too far, and it just looks terrible. And I'm looking at this thing going, oh dear. Excuse me. So once I put on the feet, I'm like, no, can't do this. So I erased the arms, I erased the bottom half of the body, and then I cut that almost, not quite in half, but maybe by a third. And then I put the arms actually where they're supposed to go. Color on the belly, the feet, and then we're putting in the areas where the feathers will look like they are feathers. And so now we're going to blacken it in. Got those big eyes. I used my fine liner for the eyes, and this is where I changed my mind as to where the owl is going to look. Get that other eye in there. So I hope that you guys all have an absolutely fantastic day, and that you just make this week so wonderful. It's just, I believe we have so much power over how our days will go. Even when we're not feeling good, we can do things that will help our days be good. And focusing on the good is what keeps us going and not depressed. So make sure you do that. Make sure you do your best to make it a good day. Now we're going in with brown again. Lots of brown, but of course a lot of animals are brown. So we go around the eyes, and in that little in-between part on the forehead, around the eye, and get the other ear. And then we're just going to color in the belly. Except for that bottom part, we're going to color that with some different colors. Now, she had 2 different colors of yellow, but my yellow colors are so similar, you can't really tell the difference between them. So at first I decided to go with yellow and a different color of brown combination, but I did not like that brown. So I pulled it out and then, or erased it as best I could, and then pulled out a kind of a reddish orange, similar to the fox, and use that for the feathers. And then finish it off with the yellow, and make sure you get the beak as well. Gotta have your yellow beak, and inside the ears. And we are basically done. So we made an owl, we made a little fox, look at how cute they turned out. A dog, a cat, and a bunny. All right, everybody, have a great one. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.